Yo, what is good, everybody? I hope you all enjoyed the long weekend. We've got a lot of things to talk about as the market extends higher, and you're going to want to watch this whole thing through because we got things setting up on oil, natural gas, SPY, and just the general market, so we're going to hop into it right away. Make sure to show the video some love, give it a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So, to start off, we got oil here. Oil is really extending here, and the 4 hour. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the 4 hour, but as you can see, it's really pushing up here hard, but we're going to look into the past to see what it has done in these kind of scenarios. So even though, normally you would see a pretty decent correction from this kind of level, the lower time frames have already kind of completed their corrections. So, um, or have had decent sized corrections on these indicators. So going back to the 4 hour, we're going to look at when it's kind of done these and what can happen after. So you can see major run, peaks, kind of gets a correction and then manages to go even higher. So there's, I guess theoretically there's a chance it can push and make another high, especially if it breaks through this line that we've been watching here, right here, this downtrend. So right now, currently, it's back testing it. You can see it hit it once already, got a little bounce, but we're going to see if it wants to hold this line. If it holds this line, it can definitely go higher. There's a lot of incentive to hit that 80-80 area because that's the 1.618 extension of this low to this high to that next low. So potentially, this is 5 waves up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this 4 is a pretty small wave, but you got to leave it in the picture. And it could get another push higher, and then you would eventually have I would say a pretty deep correction towards probably the 76 region. It looks kind of like in a liquid area that there would be a lot of incentive to kind of fill this region. So, yeah, keeping an eye on that, I guess, 74 area. We could get that low. We'll just have to see. For now, we're just watching this trend line to see if that holds. Natural gas. This is exactly what I expected. I expected us to test that low one more time, and even better if we get another low. Commodities, I said this in my last video, they really like to do these stop loss hunts. They go back below that previous low and they do a tweezer bottom where they shoot right back up. They hit all these stop losses, they trap people, where people are like, oh, we just made a new low, we're going to go even lower, like something like this sort of thing, and it just traps people. You have all these divergences setting up, so it needs to hold this region here, but so far, it's doing okay. But I think it still needs to prove itself a little more, get through some trend lines. Yeah, it has some work to do. This is a disgusting sell-off, so it really kind of needs to neutralize that momentum and kind of build a base, and get its strength back up. And if that happens, natural gas could go on a 50% run from here. So test that previous low. I don't think it can go higher than that. So from there, from that bounce, 50% bounce, you would get your fifth wave even lower down here, which I've talked about in my previous videos, but we're not going to focus on that yet. The main thing to focus on is that it just holds this region and shows more strength. DXY, we talked about how we were expecting a bounce here, just as that was kind of its last support, and it was a pretty steep one, so that's what we got. I believe we did have some slight divergences, so yeah, divergences held that up a little too. So DXY got that bounce we were looking for, but it hasn't really been telling us a whole lot about what the market wants to do, so I haven't really been paying attention to it too much. Just hopefully that correlation comes back so we can use the DXY a little more to our advantage. Apple, back at that 135 level I've been looking for. Looking for this to break out and test this line right here. Actually, there's a gap right here, so big area for Apple. I probably wouldn't want to be chasing this here. It's a little overbought as of now. We'll see. It could mount up. The really big line here to watch is this one, this downtrend. So this could have been a tweezer bottom kind of, where you come down and you shoot right back up, back into this pattern. Now this line, it's pretty flat. So the more flat a support or resistance is, the less likely it's really supposed to be like. I don't know how to explain. I kind of want to take this line off, as I'm really focusing on this one more, but this is just going to be a resistance. I'm going to put that back up soon. But this could be a wedge pattern where we shoot back up to the upside and potentially get all the way back up to 165. And I believe you do have a small gap right here. So got big resistance here. I don't know if we can break that yet. Apple, just kind of sit back and watch. to see how it reacts around that line. Tesla, still having trouble in this region here that we've been looking at 125. Trend line resistance here. So again, like I said, it's going to be a process. Kind of has to build supports. Does have a gap here, so maybe comes back to 114, but has a lot of trend lines you need to build through before being able to test that 140 level, where a lot of sellers are going to come in. These sellers, I think, are going to hit pretty hard here. So we'll see if we eventually get up to 140, how it does up there. Amazon, nothing new here. We were looking for that breakout. I said this won't last forever. It's going to break out at some point. And there was a lot of incentive to bounce from this region because I believe there was that big demand zone here. Yeah, big demand zone here. Just kind of this whole area. So if we went underneath this area, it would have been a little scary, but it was overextended, so it was really unlikely. And now we're just looking at those upside targets, which big areas to look at are those gaps. So these are going to be pretty big areas of incentive to get to. We're overbought on the 4 hour, so maybe some cooling off. This was quite the run here on Apple. Really nice run here, so I'm not chasing this. I wouldn't really recommend chasing it, but that next area to the upside would be 110 to 105. LabU, major run here. This is what we've been waiting for. It took a while. Really had trouble at that lower 7s region, but it did manage to break it. And from our entry here, no one really held through this whole thing, but if you did hold through the whole thing, that was 42%. My targets were 770 and 810, and it blew right through it. So next up, you got some gaps here at 9 and 10. So interesting spot here. I don't know if it really can do that though, because the main ETF that if you want to watch for biotech, for these two, these are the inverse ETFs for biotech. It's pretty overextended here, so I don't know if it can keep going here. We'll just have to see. It just filled this gap, so I don't really see another area of incentive, except I believe there's some gaps like way up here, but I don't think that's really gonna happen. So I'm watching this trend line here. There's just kind of this trend line resistance range around here, so we'll see how it does. Just in this area, I'm gonna put a box here. We can see how it kind of what it can do here. So coming up to a big resistance, overbought. I would expect some sort of downturn, but we'll have to see. The markets are really bullish right now, and there's a chance it could enter into a melt up. So XOXX, a little overextended here as well. You can see on the 2 hour it's starting to curl down. I think it's losing strength here. We'll take a quick look at volume. Volume somewhat slowing. We'll look at it on the daily. Yeah, the volume not really telling us too much. Yeah, this could take a couple days to slow down just because of that was quite a powerful move. So it's at this resistance here. I think this is the big resistance to watch, and this area has been has proved to be pretty much a diamond wall. So I would really doubt it can manage to shoot through this, especially after going straight up into this resistance. Two resistances actually. So SOXX, I would be looking for a downturn soon, and the one that would move up is SOXS. So under that big trend line, that diamond support, we'll see. Kind of needs to hold this region. You would want it to pop right back up, but yeah, this could be some sort of bear trap, but I don't want it to stay under that line for long. And if it can pop back up, I could see it shooting all the way back up to 50. So from here, 87%. So maybe that gap 230% almost. So keep your eye on this one. This really could move a lot. These ETFs move a lot. So keep your eye on this one. Make sure to be watching this region here. It's going to be a pretty hard area to break. Onto the VIX. We were talking about that gap. I said there's more incentive to go to the downside. But what you really need to be paying attention to is what happens once it gets past the apex. So we could see a major shift in the next 2 days right around this apex of this pattern. So keep your eye on the next 2 days. Don't fall for the tricks the market likes to play. So VIX, it's really low. It doesn't make too much sense to just free fall from here. And just kind of eyeballing this, I think there's a descending support here. So I can come back here, this trend line. So yeah, I think that's a big line to watch. Definitely going to keep that trend line on here. So VIX, we're going to see if it can jump back up, but it needs to do it soon. So on to SPY now. SPY, I haven't been shorting this, and I don't want to short it until I see it just kind of lose steam here because it's definitely been squeezing the past 5 days. Just looking at the data, has been from short covering. So this is short covering taking place right now. If we look at the volume, might not tell us too much, but it's worth looking at. In short squeezes, you'll see these melt ups, and there's not a lot of volume because it's not buying volume. It's short covering, short positions having to close their positions, which in turn kind of adds to the fuel of the move up. So that's why you see this volume falling off, but it just continues to keep going up. So volume not really telling us much here, so we can't really use it, I guess, um, as much as we could in like a different scenario. So again, major volume pocket. So it's testing that right now. It was having trouble on Friday, and you're sitting at this golden pocket retrace, that 0.618, and then on ES, there's a lot of trend lines here. So it's kind of been tricky. It's just kind of drifting like past these supports, but you know, it it's tough to say. If you think to yourself, just think to yourself, does it really make sense to be in a reversal pattern, a rising wedge, and just go sideways and then shoot up? No, that's not how reversal patterns work. Um, I can't remember the last time I've seen that happen on a reversal pattern like a rising or falling wedge. So, I have my doubts it's going to consolidate in this region and just shoot up, but it's possible. You gotta leave that in the picture. I believe 407. This area. If we break this region here, um, right around here, you could see some major melting up. And even in that case, it's already so overextended. It doesn't really make sense to just keep going up from there. But I think it needs to slow down soon. I'm not short yet. I'm waiting to go short because this can't last forever. But patience. Patience is key right now. I do think it's close to falling, but like August, um, I shorted a little early. I started shorting at 415, and it broke that major area. I'm gonna show you quick so we can just kind of look in the past and learn from it for a little. Learn from it a little. I started shorting right here, and I was like, "There's no way it can break through this. It's a diamond wall, massive supply zone," and there was definitely a lot of sellers coming in here. People were shorting like crazy here, and what happened? Short covering. You broke some levels, and all of those shorts that piled in here got squeezed again. So I took my last short, the Discord too, the whole Discord we caught a short on this wick right here, and we rode that drop down pretty far. So um, now it's just a question: is it going to be able to get through this volume pocket? I don't think so. It's so overextended. Um, we'll have to see. I would like more to work with. We'll get that on Monday. So we'll see if this pattern breaks down. It should, based on the past and how these patterns work. But I think it's smart to be patient right now. Don't be in a rush. You got massive divergences. It doesn't make sense to keep going up, but the market can be irrational. We'll have to see what it does tomorrow. Maybe a gap down, as it just kind of drifts through all of these supports. But we'll see. So I want to talk about Netflix quick because this was something I was talking about. I mentioned in my community post. I identified these 5 waves up, and I said this. I mentioned this in the Discord. I thought 334 was the max you could go to, because that would consider the 5th wave extending, which you could measure out like this. So give me a second here. So that 0.618 here, I said there was a lot of incentive to get here. I just would have been astonished if it could go higher than that because, it's gone straight up. So there are also all of these divergences. I believe it's overbought. Yeah, you can see it's slowing down. So I think this is short covering as well. And Netflix really moves with the market too. So you kind of want the market to slow down first, and just you really want to be pretty certain about that too. Netflix looks like garbage to me right now. Just like I don't see how it could really keep pushing from here. Major trendline resistance. I see 5 waves up, really symmetrical. At these fib levels, volume's been falling off, like I mentioned. I listed all of those rules. So Netflix looking like it's getting the top here. You got that gap at 347, but that's pretty far away. sort of. So Netflix, we just need to see the market slow down, and everything will start going according to plan. So we'll see what the market do tomorrow. We'll have a lot more to work with. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Gonna be a fun day to trade. Hop in the Discord. Make sure to join that link in the description. And that's where I'm gonna leave this video. So if you watch the whole thing through, make sure to show it some love, give it a like and subscribe, and peace out, guys.